G'day, how you doing, everybody? Time for another video, and this is like a kind of a theory video, and I'm also going to go over again my Chessable course building process, because I came across a brand new gambit just a few days ago. Yeah, if you saw my video that's all about gambits that try to deflect the center pawns away, so to these squares, right? So you're trying to attract these pawns away, whether you're white or you're black, right? In which case they can often be recaptured by knights, okay? Then I actually stumbled on a gambit in there called the Giertz-Peters gambit that I've never heard of before. And it works against the French defense. So, what's really interesting about this as well is that if you're an e4 player, right, then this gambit is extremely close to another interesting gambit that isn't too common, but is very spicy, very aggressive, and rather dangerous. Okay, so first of all, let's go over the Giertz-Peters gambit. Okay, and this comes out of the French defense. So if, like me, you've been scratching around and sniffing around trying to find a really unpleasant way to deal with the French, then this might tickle your fancy. Okay, so the French defense is 1 e6 from black. Okay, and we carry on in very normal style with d4, and then black will play d5. Okay. So I've got, this is up on Lee Chess, and I've got it set to all the ratings switched on, and just to rapid, okay, because that's my area of interest, okay. So here d5 is played, it's got 2.7 million d5s, and the next one at c5 is less than a tenth of that, like 13% or something, right? So this will always be played. Now, the most common continuations you can see here are e5, the advanced variation, e takes d5, the exchange variation, knight to c3, and this is the one that we're going for, right? Knight to c3 is the Paulson variation, okay? And now, from here, black obviously has a few options, right? You've got knight to f6 is the most common, with 219,000, so it's not like heaps and heaps and heaps, right? You've got bishop b4, pinning the knight, okay? And all of these are kind of, just switching my phone off there so we don't get messages pinging up. Bishop b4, and you can see that's 45% for white, that's not too bad. And again, this is the line that we're interested in. Now this is 219, 176, 114. This is not uncommon, okay? Because there's tension in the middle of the board, and black thinks, let's resolve the tension, so they take the pawn. And now, for our feature presentation, right? f3, okay? Stop me if you've heard this one before, okay? f3. So this is kind of similar to a kind of Scandinavian idea. You've offered a pawn here, and now you're offering a second. Or it's similar to the Danish. You offer a pawn here, and then you offer another one, right? And so, by 5,200 times, black takes the extra pawn, right? He's got this doubled up pawn. It's right deep in enemy territory. It's not going to survive. It may as well just give up its life for the cause, okay? So black takes, and this is the Rubinstein variation, apparently. And then you recapture with a knight. Okay, so let's take stock, right? Black has 7 pawns. White has 6 pawns. White has a maybe slightly better pawn here on d4, but more importantly, white has 2 developed pieces. Plus, let us also note, white is in a position to develop his bishop and castle quickly on the king side, right? But may also castle, choose the castle queen side as well. Put the rook straight on d8. Now, obviously the bishop can come out, the queen is pretty free to join in the fun, so you have a lot of open space, you have a lot of flexibility, and black really is still in the starting blocks. Okay, so you've given up one pawn, but in return, you've got an awful lot of scope here. Both bishops are free, the queen's free, the king's going to castle quickly, and if you're going to do something like this, play this kind of gambit, then you need to capitalize immediately on your advantage, on your development lead, and start attacking rapidly. Okay, so now looking at this board, so let's just follow the most common moves here, right? So like knight f6 here, bishop d3 looks very normal, okay? And I'm starting to feel somewhat at home with this position, okay? Queen can't take that because it's guarded by the knight, yeah? Now, Freddie gone positions, okay? This is starting to feel like an opening that I'm rather familiar with, okay? Next most common from black is bishop e7 or bishop e4, so let's say bishop e7, and castles. And bingo, we have a rook straight on f1, looking down at the tender spot on there. Of course, black's going to castle now, but doesn't this now start to feel like a Vienna gambit? Right? There's no Freddie. Okay, now we don't have a pawn in the middle, right? But there's no f-pawn, right? We've got a bishop here looking up there. We've got another bishop here looking up there, right? We might do things like bring the knight around. We might play c3, just get the bishops lined up and charge at black, okay? So, here's my point. If you're a Vienna player, or a Vienna gambit player, okay, and your opponent pulls out the French, right, don't groan, right? We can go for a normal French setup, and if they go for this, then we can lure them back into some Austrian kind of style with this, okay? Now, take a look at this position, and doesn't this look very, very, very close to another gambit, right? So, bear with me on this, okay? You're an e4 player. Your opponent plays the Scandinavian, okay? So, there's lots of ways to deal with this, but one way to, I think, really attack the Scandinavian, now I'm playing the Scandinavian at the moment, right, is to play the Blackmar, okay? So this is the Blackmar Gambit. So what we're doing is we are offering up pawn number 1 here, okay? So this was invented by Mr. Blackmar, right? So we've offered up one pawn, but black has used up his second turn in capturing the pawn. Now, the Blackmar Gambit, I think, continued with an immediate f3, right? But then Mr. Diemer comes along and says, hang on, I think this is better, to bring out the knight to c3 first. Okay, and then blah, blah, knight to f6 is very common, blah, blah, blah. And this is then, you know, the full Blackmar-Diemer Gambit, f3 takes and takes, right? So this is almost the same. So in the Giertz-Peters that we just saw, the knight's back here, but this pawn is forward, right? So the two can very, very easily swap places. Now a normal continuation from here might be something like this. You've got h3 is very common here, and very, very good for white with a 58% win rate, okay? So we're chasing the bishop, and the bishop now runs away to here, okay? Then knight to e5, and this is a nice kind of front foot style of position, okay? And this is the Blackmar-Diemer Gambit. So I think the point here is that you can use the Giertz-Peters if your opponent plays the French against you as an e4 player, or you can go Blackmar-Diemer if your opponent plays the Scandinavian against you, okay? And if you're a Vienna player and they play e5, happy days, we know exactly what we're doing, right? And it's the same moves, you know? It's the same moves over and over again. So I think this is very interesting. Now, so the other thing that I'd like to maybe take you through just now is, okay, so I've identified this, and I would like to build a course. So over we go to Chessable. Okay, and I'm going to go to courses created by me. Do I have one on the Blackmar-Diemer Gambit? Yes, I do. Okay, so I have a course on the Blackmar-Diemer already. Let's just browse that. And I'm not going to go into too much detail with this, okay? Right, so basically I've got one on the Rider Gambit. Now the Rider Gambit is very spicy. I've shown it many times before, but it's even more highly spiced. Okay, so you do okay, so now black brings out the knight to defend this pawn, which is under attack by your knight. Then you play f3, takes, and in the Blackmar-Diemer the normal continuation is knight takes f3. In the Rider Gambit it's this, hanging this pawn. Black goes thank you very much, you go aha, I hit your queen. He goes, well, there's a couple of variations. I mean, you know, queen b4 is quite obvious, right? And then you castle, okay? And then black goes, aha, I skewer your queen. And you go, what queen? And he goes, that queen. And you go, ha, but I have checkmate, okay? So that's a particular trap. Can't remember the name of it, right? But if the queen, the better move here is queen here, okay? And then, for example, you castle anyway, and he might trade. And look at this. I mean, look at this massive development lead you've got here. And still again, you know, your opponent just doesn't pay attention, right? And he comes in thinking about his own ideas. Boom, again. The knight can still come in, checkmating the king. The king can't move to d8 because of the completely open file, right? So lovely, lovely, spicy looking stuff. So let us go back to here, okay? So I've got one variation in this only, okay? So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to go into my control panel. I'm going to say new chapter, and I'm going to say Giertz-Peters Gambit versus French, right? So this is just a new chapter. And there we go. So I've got a new chapter here, right? I can go edit variations in there, but there's no variation. So I can even just go add variation, right? So let's play the first few moves straight into Chessable. Okay, then we play this, and this, and this, and if they take, we play this, and if they take again, we play this. Okay, so this is the normal line. So where does it go from here? Well, let's go back to Lead Chess, and I'm really liking this. You know, I think I don't want to be looking at what the grandmasters play necessarily. I'm looking for what's going to be most effective against intermediate players, 1500 to 2000, right? So the Lead Chess database, I think, is perfect for this, right? So again, I've got it set. I mean, I might even take off the big ones and just say, okay, let's look at this. Okay, so we go French, we go this. D5 is nearly always played, 2.5 million, and the second is like way behind, okay? And then we play the third most popular move, which as a French player, I never really enjoyed seeing myself, okay? And again here you see 47% for knight f6, right? And if they play knight f6, then we'll probably hit it, but we'll cover that. Okay, now if they take, we do this. E takes f3 5,000 times, the next most popular only 500. So it's nearly ubiquitous, this. Okay, now, from here, what's my opponent going to do? Well, the number one move is knight f6. And then it's saying here, bishop d3, 59% for white. I'm loving that, I'll take that all day long, right? Then bishop e7, and castles. Okay, so let's do that. Right, so here, got knight f6, then I think it was bishop d3, wasn't it? Bishop there, castles. And just assessing this board, let's look at it on Lead Chess, it's a bit cleaner, right? Got a nicely placed bishop in for the attack, got a knight that can jump into here, also attacking h7. We've got maybe a rook that can lift up, and I'm in very comfortable kind of Vienna territory, okay? So what I would do now is just scroll down a bit. Now, after all these moves, you can add your own comments, right? And I'm going to say GP mainline, for example. And where's it going to go? It's going to go into the Blackmar-Diemer Gambit course. What chapter? Giertz-Peters Gambit. Add it, and it's added, right? So now it's added. Right, and now it's saying yes, you know, do I want to see it? So, okay, let's have a go, right? And it's going to load it up. And you can then run through it, you can click through, you can go edit variation and add your notes and stuff like that. And here it's even got you know, other people's comments from other courses from that same position as well. Okay, so let's go back and have a rewind a little bit here. Okay, so we're going to play this against the French. Now, the most common move here is knight to f6, which isn't bad for black. That's 47-47. So we need to explore that. And then I think, yeah, e5 looks absolutely excellent. Okay. But down here we've got knight f3. It's been played almost 900 times with a 60% win rate for black. Sorry, for white, which is very interesting. So that's what we're kind of looking for. We're looking for, you know, slightly left field, slightly unusual directions, or you've got pawn f3 as well. Pawn f3 looks a bit kind of dangerous. But if we're going Vienna style, is f4 ever played? No, absolutely not. No, nobody's playing f4 here. Okay. But this looks nice to me, right? And you'll probably force the knight back here. Yeah. So knight f to d7, and black is already looking really, really cramped. And again, we've got this, you know, kind of ideas of attacking in this direction, get castled either side, and I'm quite happy with that situation, right? So black to there. So, okay, so black's actually winning 50% of the time if they play that move. So do we have a good continuation here? Not really, actually, apart from queen h5. Queen h5 is a weird one. Queen h5, been played 364 times with a 58 against 38 win rate for white. And that could be curious. So you can just like browse your way down that line. Okay, and then c5, by far the most common, which is very, very typical. French players are, you know, automatically got this on a, you know, a hair trigger anyway. And then knight f3, bishop c6, what's that? Knight c6, knight c6, okay. And then knight to g5, and you're threatening mate already. Interesting, okay. I like this line, right? So let's review. So what we can do here, okay, we just want to add a new variation. So all I do here is click on the, click back, let's click back again, and it wants to add a new variation, okay? So this is GP mainline. I'm just going to refresh the page. This is the way that I do it. French, okay, let's see if we can remember what we did. Okay, knight comes here, they bring the knight out, right? We hit the knight, they retreat there, and this is normally good for black, except for this. Queen out here, and then c5, then knight here, and then knight out, wasn't it? And then knight to here. Okay, I'm amazed I've remembered that sequence. Okay, but this is now, from this position, after knight to g5, 83% win rate for white. So I'm very, very interested in that. Okay, so this I would call Giertz-Peters declined knight f6. Okay, so I'll just go GP declined knight f6, and I'm adding it to the Blackmar-Diemer Gambit course. The chapter is Giertz-Peters. Add it, and it's done. Right. Now, normally what I would be doing is also adding my comments as well throughout to explain, okay, well, why do I play this move, and then why does my opponent play whatever variation, okay? And then you just go back, you rewind to another place where it branches off. So knight f6 is very common here, and we've got a response to that, okay? Well, what about this one? What about bishop b4, right? This is good for white, 50% for white, 45 for black. And we are looking for a line to learn and master in this, okay? So let's scroll down a little bit. On average, 50% for white, 45 for black. What's best for white? Knight e2 is okay. But e5 is very common. And it's 51-44, so that looks very reasonable. Or knight e2. Knight e2 defends the knight. Let's think about this. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I think I might just go e5 here. Similar kind of idea. You're preventing this knight from coming out to this square. Okay, and they're going to play c5 because they always do, because they're a French player, that's all they know. And then we kick the bishop. The bishop takes, and b takes. And we've got a 49% win rate from here. And your French player is kind of out of their comfort zone. We've already captured inwards with the b pawn, so we can defend the d pawn again. And there's lots of different ways it can go from there, but it's generally looking kind of okay for white. So you might add that line to the course, for example. Or if you can find something that's more reliable and more predictable. So let's say if they don't take again, bishop comes out. Let's just have another look, because can we find something even more aggressive? How about, look at that, queen g4. Queen g4 has a 53% win rate. And your French player is already going to be like, where am I? I'm not in France anymore, okay? And this is actually looking pretty good. So knight f6. Knight f6? Attacking the queen. But if queen takes, that's actually better for black. Queen f3 has only been played a couple of times. So I don't like that. For that reason, it's better for black. Okay, so that's interesting. So queen g4, it's saying on average is better for white, but there's lots of other responses. If they don't play knight f6, then it seems universally better for white there. Okay, and here queen f3 has been played a couple of times. Now let's just have a look. There might be an interesting little wrinkle in it. So they're g8, and now black's unable to castle. He nearly always, very often castles kingside in the French. And then we go to here, like always, and it's fairly even. So that's an interesting line. But maybe queen out there isn't ideal. I don't know. Is there another option that looks better? How about this knight e2 idea? Okay, this does look good for white, right? So most common here by far, d takes e4, because the knight is pinned and can't recapture. Then we kick, takes, and a knight takes, and we've got a 53% win rate. I like this. Right? I'll take a 53% win rate here. So I will take this one. So let's go back again. Adding a new one, and again I'm going to just refresh the page just to make absolutely sure, because otherwise it might try and overwrite what I'm doing. So what did we do here? French, knight out here, bishop out here, knight to there. Okay, then what did they do after knight e2? Knight e2, d takes a3. Okay, yeah, that's right, d takes because the knight is pinned. Okay, so I can add, d takes e because the defending knight is pinned, for example, right? And it just adds it there. So they take there, we don't take that, we push a3, we exchange, and we've got a very unbalanced position, and we're certainly not in the French anymore. So your French player is now going to have to start playing chess straight away. I like this, so we're going to call this one, variation name declined. So hang on, it's GP declined, isn't it? GP declined, what is it, bishop b4, yeah, bishop b4, okay? It's going in the Blackmar-Diemer course, and it's going in the Giertz-Peters, okay? Now I could even split that off into its own course later on, and there we go, and we've added 3 variations, right? So now, if I go back, just back to courses created by me, I'll go Blackmar-Diemer Gambit, okay, and I just go review, right? And this is how you do Chessable. They've also got a mobile app or tablet app, which is really good. So I'm just going to go review all. Okay, Rider Gambit declined. Okay, let's do this. So I know this is that, bang, night out, Blackmar-Diemer style, and they now decline with that. So now I've got to remember what it is I'm meant to play here. How about that? Nope. Okay. So I can go, I don't know. Okay, bishop f4. Right. Okay, bishop f4. There. I'm guessing I'm not going to initiate the exchange. I might just castle. Looks happy. Bishop here. No. h4. No. Oh, bishop e5. Okay. Right. And blah, blah, blah. And this is the end of the position. Oh, it's not. Surely take, yeah, no. Take, no. And if you don't know, it doesn't matter. Oh, I'll slide across. Okay, that pins this pawn, means that pawn can't capture there. Okay. So then it goes over, again, the same position. So, so declined with e6. And what did we say? Bishop out here, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. Pin the knight. No, it wasn't. What was it? Yeah, bishop f. Right. Forgot that, didn't I? Forgot it twice now. Then it goes over the same things. Bishop here. Yeah, queen here. Okay. Try it again, Hunty. You see, you keep getting it wrong. And then this. So it's kind of pulling up. Oh, pulling up. You know, any moves that you got wrong, it will just serve them back up to you at random. So what it's doing is it's literally just drilling over and over and over that kind of muscle memory, pattern recognition. Okay, and this is right, so we go here again. Yeah, okay, so I've now completed, it's happy that I've kind of got the idea of that one, right? So we can go Giertz-Peters Gambit. And then if you go learn, it will actually try and teach you the moves. But in fact, I've got learning switched off, so I've got it going straight into the thing. So let's see if together we can remember how this goes, okay? So this is the decline knight f6, and we pushed and forced the knight back there. Excellent. And then, is it queen out there? No, what was it then? Pushing the knight back there. It's not queen there, is it? No? Queen here? Yes. Queen all the way out to there. And then knight to here, and we're looking, that's it. That's it. Okay? And you can see, just, and that, how long does that take? That takes 10 seconds to do that. Okay, so Giertz-Peters decline knight f6 again. Let's do it. There, them, declines, knight f6, kick. Queen h5, aggressive. We just found this line, right? And now I'm learning it. And they do this, and we do this, and we're threatening mate on there. Okay, and again, blah, blah, blah. Right, it's nothing like repetition. Repetition does work. It's worked for a long time. Queen out here. And you can see now it's fluent, right? I get it. Happy. And it says brilliant, you know, you've done it, okay? So let's learn this one. Okay. Gertz-Peters declined, blah blah blah. And knight here. Right. Okay, bishop to there. And we played knight e2. They take because they can. They're their trade. Right, done. Okay, so that's it guys. That is how to explore a new line to add to your repertoire, right? And how to create your own training material on Chessable so that it goes into the grey matter there. So there you go. I'm, you know, now in a stronger position. I've got another weapon in my armory